is 2022 bear market going to be like 2018? Well, the first part of that question is that assumes that you believe that we're going to be in a bear market in 2022, which I do believe that. Okay. Miguel, maybe you could toss at me how that could not happen, whether you believe it or not. Maybe you could tell me how that could not happen. But here's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that there is a law. It's the law of exponential. It's basically exponential returns. What's that?
You're talking about diminishing returns?
Yeah, diminishing returns. And thank you. And so I actually did a video on this recently, but law of diminishing returns. And here's what it basically states. It's that there comes a point when these assets get so high in regards to market cap that it takes so much money to move, okay, that let me back up. I hear a lot of people say, well, in 2018, everything dropped 85%. So therefore, we are going to drop 85% this time. Well, here's the reality. Moving 85% from $1 trillion down to whatever that puts us at 1.5 billion or whatever that number is, right, is a massive difference versus going from 8 trillion down to 1 trillion. I guess what I'm saying is these numbers are going to be so much larger that it takes a lot more money to move it. And so with that in mind, do I think it's going to be similar? Sure. I think we're going to have a bear market. Here's where I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to be different. And I think in some cases it might be worse with our political instability. I would be lying to you if I didn't say that I was absolutely ready for this next crazy bear market. And I'll tell you why. I sat through the last one and I see the gains that I've been able to accrue now and what I've been able to do. And I'm looking at this next one and saying, hey, we're not talking about just making money now. We're talking about life-changing wealth for myself, my daughter, my family, and maybe generations to come if done correctly. And so is it going to be a bear market 2022? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be. Is it going to be similar? Sure, it's going to be a bear market just like another bear market. But I think that we could have even more turmoil because of the political landscape.
So my thoughts on the 2022 bear market, right? There exists the possibility that we could go into, right? People call it a super cycle, right? But I don't want to call it a super cycle exactly how it's defined, right? I think it's going to be more of institutions are here to play, right? Previously, we went to the bear market and we went nowhere but down and sideways for 2 years straight, right? We had a minor pump, I believe it was in 2019, where Bitcoin hit 14,000 and then it dropped right back down. And that was the only relief rally that we saw. But I don't think that institutions are just going to go to sleep for the next 2 years until 2024 when the next halving happens and the cycle takes up again, right? That's how it should be historically through the 4-year cycle, right? I think institutions are here and they're going to play between now and that next cycle. So I think if we don't break to crazy all-time highs of $150,000, $250,000 by the end of this year, by the end of where this cycle should be ending, I think we're gonna have little pumps, we're gonna have little legs up on the way until 2024, right? We saw 50% retracement in May that lasted 2 months, right? 2 months and a half before we saw a relief. I think the same thing can happen. We can have the bear market begin right at the beginning of 2022, the end of this year, and we can go down drastically, right? 60, 70% even, and then we can come right back up, try to retest those all-time highs, right? Those all-time highs are a lot higher than what they were in 2017, right? Yeah. So, and they're going to be making that money because institutions are not just going to sit on Bitcoin or sell all their Bitcoin and just, all right, guys, we'll be back in 2024, right, when things are supposed to kick back up. I think they're going to be there making sure that the engine keeps running and that there's constant pumps in between, right? Fewer and fewer, but there's going to be pumps in between more than what we've seen in previous bear markets. Whether we're going to hit new all-time highs or not, right? I don't know. Or we're going to just reach the previous all-time high that we create and then just come back down, right? That's going to be tons of money to be made in those swings, right? Because if Bitcoin goes to 150, drops back down to, you know, 50,000, that lost $100,000 of value right there. And then it comes back up to 90, 100, comes back down to maybe 40, right? Shoots back up close to 100. There's tons of money, things that did not happen in 2018, 2019.
Okay. So you think there's going to be, there's going to be some bigger swings in there when they're shorting and longing and actually
Yes.
actively playing with the market.
Yes.
Okay, I could see that.